For years, you've heard the story a million times, right? The scrappy fintech startups are coming to eat the big banks' lunch. But what happens when those giants decide they're tired of being on the menu? Today, we're looking at how the old guard isn't just defending its turf anymore, they're going on the offensive.
You look around and, let's be honest, the world feels a little chaotic. You'd expect the financial sector to be, cautious, maybe even a little worried. But nope, big bank earnings season just strode in, looked at all the chaos, and basically said, hold my beer.
I mean, it's wild. You've got critical ceasefire talks for Iran that are on shaky ground, oil tankers playing dodgeball with drones, and somehow the markets are just channeling that dog in a burning room meme like, this is fine. It's quite a backdrop for what's about to unfold in banking.
And that's really the heart of it. In the middle of all this uncertainty, the big incumbent banks aren't just getting lucky. This is not a fluke. It's a calculated, strategic pushback. They aren't panicking, they are plotting. Let's dig into the evidence.
So first up, let's talk about Charles Schwab. Their latest earnings report was, well, it was a fascinating story. You've got record-breaking numbers, a head-scratching reaction from the market, and a massive power play aimed right at the heart of fintech.
Let's just start with the headline number. Schwab raked in a record $6.48 billion in revenue for Q1. That is a huge 16% leap from last year. Just an absolute monster of a quarter.
And to really wrap your head around the scale we're dealing with here, look at this. Schwab is now managing $11.8 trillion in client assets. Trillion with a T. It's a staggering amount of money.
So, you see these incredible, record-breaking numbers, and you're thinking the stock must be soaring, right?
Yeah, about that. It actually dropped about 6% after they announced all this great news. So, what in the world is going on?
It's such a classic Wall Street move. Schwab basically aced the final exam, but got a few points taken off for what feels like bad handwriting. They missed revenue estimates by just a tiny bit, and their net interest income was a smidge below what was expected. But the real story, the big fintech story, was kinda hidden in the footnotes.
And here it is. Buried in the report was this little bombshell. Schwab is launching its own crypto platform. But look at the pricing. They're charging just 75 basis points a trade. Now, to put that into perspective, a huge player like Coinbase can charge its retail customers up to 150 basis points. Schwab is walking in and cutting the price in half. This is not a test. This is a shot fired directly across the bow.
Okay, let's switch gears for our second case. This is where the pattern starts to emerge. We're talking about US Bank, which is known for being pretty conservative, pretty disciplined, and they just made a move that should send a shiver down the spine of every fintech focused on small businesses. And just like Schwab, let's be clear, US Bank is firing on all cylinders. They beat their earnings estimates, net income is up a solid 14%, and this is their 7th straight quarter of positive operating leverage. I mean, it's just a clean, steady, really impressive performance. But the real headline here, the news that changes the game, is this partnership. US Bank is teaming up with Amazon to launch a co-branded credit card for small businesses. Think about that. This is a massive key, unlocking direct access to the biggest small business ecosystem on the planet. Let's be blunt. For years, fintechs like Ramp and Brex have been in a fierce knife fight, scrapping over every single small business customer they can find. And now, by partnering with Amazon, US Bank didn't just join the fight, they showed up with a bazooka. It's a direct assault on the playbook that built the entire SMB fintech space. Okay, for our last case, let's zoom in on a regional player, Citizens Financial. Because this shows the fight isn't just about flashy new products or giant partnerships. It's about fundamentally changing how a bank even works, using a super aggressive AI playbook. So Citizens had a frankly incredible first quarter. Just look at this chart. Their earnings per share skyrocketed, jumping 47% from last year. A huge number. And yet the stock barely moved. The market's basically saying, that's nice, but do it again. Underneath that reaction, though, a radical change is happening. So what's going on? It all comes down to this internal project they call the Reimagine the Bank program. Now, this isn't just some fluffy corporate motto on a poster. It's a very real, very concrete plan to use tech to get leaner, faster, and way more efficient. And here's their three-pronged attack. They are rolling out AI to cut down on call center traffic, to speed up how fast they can develop new software, and to automate all those tedious back-office jobs.
They are literally targeting the core promise that so many fintechs were built on, which was, hey, we're way more efficient than those old clunky banks.
And you want to know how serious they are? This isn't just talk. They put a hard number on it. Citizens is aiming for $100 million in annualized pre-tax savings by the end of 2026. That's a real target with a real deadline. This is happening.
So, let's step back for a second. You put all these pieces together. You've got Schwab's crypto play, US Bank's Amazon deal, and Citizens' AI overhaul. What does it all add up to? Well, these aren't three separate stories. This is a pattern. It's a collective warning shot being fired right at the entire fintech world.
And this table just lays it out perfectly. You have Schwab using its incredible size to just crush crypto exchanges on price. You've got US Bank using a mega partnership to go right after the small business neobanks. And you've got Citizens using AI to basically copy the lean and mean operating models that fintechs invented. Every single move is direct, strategic, and aimed at a specific target.
For the past decade, the whole story has been about banks playing defense, just trying to hold on against all this fintech disruption. But what we are seeing right now is a fundamental change in strategy. This is not defense anymore. This is offense. The incumbents are taking the fight to the challengers, and they're using their massive resources and huge customer lists as weapons.
When you look at all of this, it's clear the legacy players are learning the fintech playbook. They're adopting the tech, they're copying the moves, they're even starting to think the same way. And that leaves all of us with a really fascinating question to ponder. What happens when Goliath not only wakes up, but starts getting better at the very game David invented?